COVID-19, also known as Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. The cause of the global pandemic that we are going through today. Although this pandemic has greatly affected all of our lives, having us to adapt to new norms and ways, various kinds of safety measures are being conducted all around the world to keep this infectious virus from constantly spreading. The structure of the virus can be understood by using the fruit rambutan as an analogy. As you can see, the cell of the virus contains genetic material on the inside and protein spikes on the outside. In this case, the seed of the rambutan would contain the genetic material and the little hairs would be the protein spikes. This analogy extends to not just the structure, but also the family. The rambutan is in one fruit family with the lychee fruit. As part of a family, they would have similar features, but also their own differences. Rambutans would have longer hairs, while lychees have shorter hairs. Much like in a viral family, viruses would have similar components with other members in the same family, but vary in their own ways. These two strains from the same family have similar structural components, however the first strain has longer spike proteins just like the rambutan. Recently, you might have heard many reports on new strains or new mutations of the COVID-19 virus. Just like any other virus, the COVID-19 virus is also capable of mutations. This causes the different variants or strains of the virus. This is because the genetic material in viruses, in this case the RNA, can create mistakes or errors when replicating. The variants of concern that we have discovered as of right now include alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. These variants have similar structural components, however they differ in some spike proteins which causes a change in their characteristics. For example, the B117 or alpha variant have mutations in their spike proteins which make it easier for them to bind with host cells, making it more infectious. So how can we detect these mutations? Can it be done through standard COVID-19 detecting tests? These mutations can be harder to detect because of their structural differences, which is why standard tests such as antigen or antibody tests will not be as effective. However, the polymerase chain reaction test, or the PCR test, is capable of detecting these new strains. This is because the test detects the genetic material of the virus that is conserved and not the spike protein which changes. According to Zubairi Jorban, the chairperson of the COVID-19 task force for the executive board of the Indonesian Doctors Association, now the virus is changing clothes, but PCR can still detect the head and feet. This means that PCR can still detect this new variant, so there's no need to worry too much for diagnosis. So no matter the variation, the DNA of the virus will still have similar components that make it possible for PCR to identify. Therefore, when detecting whether or not you have COVID-19, the PCR test would be the best choice because of its capabilities to detect new strains and give more accurate results, avoiding false negatives.